Namaste and welcome to the 11th part of self-improvement. In the earlier part, I had mentioned to you that we began with listening, and then we have three other communication skills. We discussed speech and silence in the last episode. Today, we will talk about reading. The title of today's episode is Read, Think, and Use. I repeat, read, think, and use. I remember in school, we had a book for reading comprehension. Its title was Read, Think, and Choose. Now here I'm not saying choose, I'm saying use. Because whatever we read, we should think about. Not all books are worth using. Not all books help us in self-improvement. Many youngsters today read only self-help books. Now that is one-sided. I would not recommend that you only read self-help books and nothing else. We can read a variety of things. We must be very specific in what use we are going to put for each of our reading. Usually when I say read, we mean books. Today, we need not have a printed book alone. We can have a Kindle version. We can have an e-book. There are plentiful, all available to us digitally. Many books are there on various sites. You search for a book and the entire book is available to you. So whatever form it is, or we have a lot of written material other than books also, like articles, we have slide shares, we have information bulletins. All these are also for reading. Here, I would like to remind you of a famous essayist of England, hundreds of years old, Francis Bacon. He said a very interesting thing. He said, some books are to be tasted. Some books are to be tasted. That means only we can take it slightly. We need not go deep into it. Some swallowed, you don't taste it. You just swallow it, you take it in. And some are to be chewed and digested. Now, digestion is very important because we are using whatever we are taking in. Reading is like the food for the mind. I told you the mind requires energy, it requires exercise, food, etc. Good reading habits is the food for the mind. So if we are able to provide this food to the mind, then that needs to be tasted, it needs to be, assimilated, digested. All these things, what Bacon says, you can also read the exact quotation online. You can go to his essay also, and then you can read the entire essay. They are short essays, beautiful. Reading. This is what I meant when I said reading. But after reading, many of us become totally, conquered by the ideas of the writer. We don't think for ourselves. We lose the capacity to judge the book. We say, oh, it's a wonderful book. If somebody asks you, what is so wonderful about the book? You don't know what to say because we are so overwhelmed by the ideas or the style or anything, the story, etc., that we have lost our ability to analyze, to critically think. Already we have done critical thinking. I'm sure you must be practicing that. Unless we practice all these skills, we cannot improve. Swami Srikanthananda Ji is very keen that all of us think, share, and improve. That is why he's told me to speak to you, to share my ideas with you. But sharing my ideas would imply that a lot of practice comes. And after practice, you share your ideas with all of us. You can share it online on the video, or you can share it in other modes. Because unless we practice, unless we share, we are not really improving. So today, improvement has a threefold process. First is to read. Very important is to read. What should we read? Here, I would like to give you the example of Swami Vivekananda. Swami Vivekananda used to borrow one book from a library. I'm sure you might have heard this story. And the next day, the book was returned to the library. After a few days, the librarian got very upset. The librarian said, "What is this? You don't read the book or what?" He was not, Swamiji didn't go himself. He sent one of his brother disciples. The librarian said, "The book is being returned in one day. What is this?" Obviously, the person came and told Swamiji, "Swamiji, this is how the librarian is objecting to borrowing one book per day and not reading it." Look at Swamiji's reply. He said that, "Tell the librarian, he or she, whoever it was, that person can ask me any question from any page of any of those books. I will be able to answer all of them." So I'm actually reading. I'm reading and I'm thinking about it and I'm making use of it also because I'm retaining the ideas. I can be questioned on it. So Swamiji has shown us the path of reading. So what was he reading? He was reading widely. Even in his college days, Swamiji was well versed in the philosophy of the West. He was well versed in ideas about India. That is where a question rose in his mind. If he was a traditional, religious person, he would have just done puja and kept quiet. He would not have questioned. So the questioning attitude came to him. He went around saying, "Have you seen God? Have you seen God?" to all the important religious leaders of his time. Nobody could answer him except Sri Ramakrishna. So the ground was made by reading. Swamiji read widely and he read a variety of subjects. This we need to remember. When we are talking about reading, we have to remember this. If you read only books, as I said, I have seen while traveling, I find youngsters, 20-year-old, 30-year-olds, reading a lot of self-help books. When I talk to them, we are doing some counseling also in Hyderabad Ramakrishna Math, BIHE. In the counseling sessions, all these youngsters, they are well educated. They are either studying in the premier educational institutions, engineering colleges, etc., or they are professionally, successful. But they have only one problem. They say, "We read such and such a book, and now we find that we are not able to practice those things." Now we find that, somebody was saying that mental training, I read a wonderful book, and now if I do mental training, I'm feeling as though I'm going mad. So self-help books have their limitation. Remember Bacon's definition of chewing, tasting, swallowing, etc. Chew and digest, only chew and digest what you can. Remember that the human body also throws away what is not possible to digest. Every day it happens. So how is it that the ideas we are getting out of reading we are not doing that to it? Some others have said that, some great person, some great thinker might have written that in your life, you're influenced by about 7 people. Now, this young girl was full of questions. Who are these 7 people? I said, look at your real life example. A person might be influenced by only one person. A person might be influenced by 20 people. To generalize and put these numbers, I think, is not correct. So read self-help books with a pinch of salt. Taking it with a pinch of salt is an important idiom in English. I'll leave it to you to find it. But please keep in mind that whenever we are reading anything, we should have a balance. We should not really go into, a total dedication to only one kind of books. Some people like to read detective novels. They go on reading only that. In the process, what happens is their mind becomes completely, filled with crime and evil and things like that. So you need to balance. Some people read only spiritual books. They know nothing about real life, but you need to live in the world. So your awareness of the world is very important. Sri Ramakrishna used to say that if you're spiritual, it doesn't mean you should be impractical. Spirituality does not mean being impractical. You have to be very practical, you have to have common sense, and still you should be powerfully spiritual. So spirituality does not excuse you by making you lackadaisical, by making you, incompetent in all other fields. So your reading should be a wide reading. This is the first very important point which I'm telling you for self-improvement. Wide reading would imply some imaginative literature, because imagination is very important for us. Creativity comes when we read this imaginative literature. But please remember that this imaginative literature should not be always compared to reality. It should not be always paralleled with reality. Problem comes. Many people watch a movie and think that is real. That isn't. That is your aesthetic dimension. That is your entertainment dimension, which is very important for human beings. Because unless we have this ability to give the mind some entertainment, some time for itself, the mind will go wrong. The mind will get totally disoriented. So we should not do that. So reading a lot of literature or reading imaginative literature is very good. You must remember that a little bit of scientific knowledge is also very important. If you're a student of science, no problem. You're reading hundreds of pages of scientific reading, so you don't have to worry. Those who are non-science need to do a little bit of reading. We have what is called as science fiction. It imagines, it anticipates science. You read a book, Jules Verne's 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Jules Verne, French writer, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Now, what does this say? It anticipates the submarine. There were no submarines when this book was written. Similarly, a lot of other science fiction books are there which anticipate the future science. But they give you a lot of knowledge of science also. They tell you a whole lot of things. If you read Aldous Huxley's Brave New World, you come across a term, hypnopedia. Hypnosis in, sleep hypnosis. That is sleep teaching. These days, many people are suggesting that you switch on something in your sleep, it gets recorded in your mind. These things are happening. So you can see these are all anticipation. But you can read actual science journals also, because knowledge of science is important. Imagine how many scientists and doctors we are hearing and reading about during the pandemic. Science has become so important today. Every one of us is talking about the vaccine. Now, earlier, none of us knew what is a vaccine. We might have taken when we were kids. After that, we never took. So science is important. Then we come to other aspects, economy. Today everybody is talking about economy. They say we can't have lockdown because economy will get spoiled. So we are reading many articles about economy. What is economy? What is money? What is earning? What is investment? So many aspects, of economy. Then we have politics, also important. Then we have psychology, we have sociology, we have journalism. Media is very important today, and we have social media also. So all these are very significant for us to know. Unless we know all this, we are not really well read. So to be well informed, we need to read widely. And for self-improvement, well-informed is very important. Unless we are well-informed, we cannot really survive in a world which expects you not to be a specialist only in your field, but also a person with wide awareness. Such a person only is an improved person. Such a person is a successful person. You should be thorough in your own subject, in your own specialization, and you should know a working knowledge of everything else. Only specialization and saying, I know nothing, is not possible anymore. Because even in the field of science, we are today not talking anymore only of pure sciences. We talk about biomedical engineering. Now, can you imagine how many things are combined in a subject like that? Biomedical engineering. It is not necessary that we only study biology or only medicine. We combine them, we merge them, and we have various, scientific subjects today which are merging. We have, the uh, geopolitics, geography, and politics put together. So we need to have a knowledge of geography, which country is where, and which country is doing what, and the political aspect also. If you read all this, you become really well read. Somebody wanted to read the Bhagavad Gita. I must have said this before. They came to Swamiji. They wanted to read the Bhagavad Gita, youngsters. Swamiji said, go and play some football. That means you need physical energy. You need the abilities which sports teaches you. Sports teaches you so many things. It teaches you acceptance. It teaches you how to win and how to lose without losing your equanimity. These things are all found in the Bhagavad Gita, but you have to have a grounding. You have to prepare the ground. Today, I saw an article in the Hindu, which was talking about this, sports and cognitive skills. You see, Swami Vivekananda said this more than a century ago. Today, they are also talking about this. So when you read these wonderful newspaper articles of well-known newspapers, you get so much reading practice. And you have to think about each of what you're reading. And then after thinking, after analyzing, you must make use of those ideas which you think are very beneficial to you. This you have to keep in mind. So, how does one read? This is the second point. The first point I told you about wide reading and about gaining knowledge, gaining ideas, improving yourself by self-improvement. Now, the next point comes, and that is, how do we read? Many of us want to learn a language. While learning to speak the language, a good method of reading is loud reading. You take a page and you read it loudly. This means that your vocal cords, your mouth, etc., are all getting used. Your speech mechanism is getting used in that language. Any language, English or Hindi or your mother tongue, you want to speak better, you read. That is one advantage of reading. It gives us a great useful technique. It gives us a skill, that is, loud reading is equal to fluent, articulate speaking. Now, suppose we are not reading loudly, we are reading in our mind. Then how can you read? One way of reading would be what is called as skimming, and the other way would be scanning. Skimming and scanning are two methods of reading reading very swiftly. So you have to read, like in competitive exams, you're given a comprehension passage which you have to read quickly because time is very short. Many students ask how to do this. So we do skimming and scanning. Now, what should you do? What is skimming? Skimming is that you read the entire passage only to understand the general idea of the passage. So if you're reading a book quickly, you can easily understand what is the general idea of the passage. So usually what is the technique people follow? For every paragraph, they read the first line because the entire paragraph is summarized in the first line. So you read all the first lines of all the paragraphs, you finish the book in one day, which you would take 10 days otherwise. So this is called skimming. Now, the next method, scanning, is also very fast, but here you catch specific points. You see, the scanner is a machine which all of us have today. You in your smartphone, you have what is called as the scanner. So what do? We catch that page which we require. So scanning is a method of reading where you catch specific points. So you just take your eyes down and then you look at the important points. You only look at the key words, the difficult words which are communicating a lot of meaning. The simple words, what we call as content words and function words. So all the function words have no meaning for you. Function words are like prepositions, conjunctions, articles, etc. These have no value. So we are looking only at content words. Quickly we do it, and that is called scanning. So when you read, you have to practice these methods, but reading is only step number one. Then you have to start thinking also. Now, suppose you want to do slow reading, then psychologists tell us that when we are doing speed reading, when we are reading this word, our eyes are traveling to word number 7. That means eyes are going very fast and the sound is coming very slowly, or the reading is coming slowly. But that is not a good way of reading if we want to read slowly. That means complete concentration, complete chewing and digesting, as Bacon said. Then what should we do? We should take the passage, read each word by looking at the word. Read the same line many times, or read the same paragraph, read full paragraph and read it again and again. This kind of a concentrated reading we do when we are learning Sanskrit shlokas. Suppose I would like to recite Devi Mahatyam. I want to read a chapter. Then I don't know Sanskrit very well. I have no familiarity. So I would look at each word, pronounce it clearly. Only then I will move the eyes to the next word. As soon as my eye goes to the next word, without pronouncing the first word, I find that I'm stumbling. This we can practice and see. You can, if your English is not good, you practice with English. Since my English is good, I can't practice. I'm practicing with Sanskrit now because that is unfamiliar to me. Therefore, we understand that concentration, chewing, implies looking at each word and then trying to understand what this word means without looking at the dictionary. By constant reading, our vocabulary increases. You don't have to keep looking at your dictionary. Go on reading. If you can understand 50%, that is good enough. You will come across that word 100 times, then you will start guessing, okay, this word might mean this. And when you start guessing like that, you can easily understand that your concentration is perfect. That means you have come to that chewing, digesting stage. You are increasing your abilities in the language you are also using the reading for generating ideas. I have told you about thinking. So much I have said about thinking in 3 different episodes. So for all these thinking, to make our mind clear, to give the correct kind of nourishment to our mind, reading is very important. Unless we make a practice of reading, we can never read. You know, people get impatient even if a WhatsApp message comes, which is 20 sentences. They read the first sentence and they say, oh, I cannot read anymore. I don't have concentration. Let us remember again Swamiji's example, which I gave you, that, you know, he used to read day after day all these books. So if we concentrate, if we get into the habit, if we practice, then I think reading is very beneficial. It should make us think. And finally, it should also be useful for our self-improvement. That is all for today. Namaste and thank you.